now?
Hi guys. Okay, so we've had a little bit of a crazy start to the beginning of the stream. The question that I'm asking myself is, are we breaking trend? Now, the example that I want to share with you, if we look at the setups that I shared with you guys, if you start drawing lines like this, you can easily set a narrative to say to yourself, okay, we're holding, or are we breaking trend? You know, these kind of things. And if we then take that same approach to what Bitcoin is doing right now, the question that I think that a lot of traders are we breaking trend, or are we just doing exactly that? We just basically building another sideways channel. So I want to answer that with you guys. I want to basically unpack this trade with you to see where we are within this swing setup, and then obviously have a look at that in relation to Ethereum, which is now pushing $2,700, and Solana that is not reciprocating the moves, just to make sure that we're on the right side of the market and the market trends. Okay, so if you find this interesting, you think that that's something you would like to see, what you need to do is just give me a like, hit me a subscribe. Let the algorithm know that's good for you. And let's say hi. Hello, morning Liam. I see you've got questions locked and loaded. Morning Renee and everybody else joining in. Drop me a comment. I'd like to see where you guys are at. Did you and are you in the long with me? I think that's a fair question. Let me know in the comments. Okay. Now, if we then look at this price action from a 4-hour point of view, what I want to do is simply just layer out the demand and the supply zones for you guys, and then we'll take it from there. So what I'm going to do is just going to hide the current. I can leave the current long. I'm just going to hide all the other setups that I've shared, and then I want to just remind you of a nifty tool. When you draw trend lines, it's easy to draw a trend line like this. It's easy to draw a trend line like that, and it's a fluid, basically. It's a thing that you can just move around, and it's all based on your bias and your opinions for the morning. It's simple to draw a trend line like this and say, well, there you go. This was a breakout, and now we've fallen back. So if that is the case, the market doesn't want to be bullish, and maybe we need to move back down to the last time we had lows. There's so many easy ways that one can use these trend lines to sell somebody on a narrative. And that's not what I want to try and do. So the tool that I use to just keep up to speed of whether we're in a trend or not is the Fib speed resistance fan. So it's basically a Gann tool. So I snap it to the bottom of the trend and I put it at the highest point. Now, for everybody on the stream, your highest and my highest point might differ slightly based on the exchange. But the key here with this is just to make sure that you do have this settings. Pause the screen, make sure you've got yours as mine. And the only real value we're looking for is the 38.2. Now, if we track this as price goes, once you have your first divergence, meaning the RSI has now moved from oversold to overbought, that is when you know that there has been a wave. Now, Elliott Wave basically explained that is that first one, and now you're trying to stay within the greater move. This means that going forward now, every time price puts in a new high, let's maybe use the line tool just to simplify this or visually make this more accessible. Every time we put in a new high, you'll see that the Gann fan is basically just moving the goalpost of what is a trend being broken. Okay. The same happened when we looked at this from a bearish point of view. So you have your initial wave where the RSI went from overbought to oversold. Okay. And then you put your Gann fan on there. And once you have that initial overbought, oversold, you can then track price on the highs and you'll see it will keep on moving the goalpost. Now, the tricky thing with scenarios like this is why you don't just use a trend line when trading, because if I just use the trend line by own definition, none of these shorts would be actionable shorts purely because, we have broke the bearish trend. And that brings me to the second part of the analysis. So although trend is intact, we also need to look at momentum. Now, the easiest way to identify if momentum is entering, because we're looking for a continuation, we're already in a position, is to see if we can find hidden bullish divergence. This shows itself in the following way. The market will, any impulsive move, when there's a 5-wave structure, will have at these lows scenarios where, if I now have to visually draw the RSI for you at the bottom here, we'll have scenarios where the RSI will go up and create, divergence to signal a top, come down, create a divergence to signal a bottom, and then we'll have wave on wave divergence, where we're going to look at these bottoms in relation to these bottoms. And typically what you will find is your RSI on your last little hurrah for any impulsive move will have hidden bullish divergence. Okay, you're only allowed to use hidden bullish divergence if there is an uptrend. Okay, only allowed to use hidden bearish divergence if there is a downtrend. And subsequently, that's how we got to these entries in, because the fact that there was hidden bearish divergence, the market showed us that it's a shakeout, a trap, and that you should add and trade onto that. Okay, so where we're at now, the big question is, for myself, and I think that anybody that entered, say maybe on the entry zone at around 108, is this long still good? Because are we going to go lower and so forth? So what do we need to do? We need to look for hidden bullish divergence. I'm looking for a reason to see whether this is going to continue. Okay, now bring in the RSI real quick. What am I looking to see? If we identify this as a first completed wave structure, and we look at this as the beginnings of a second wave structure, we want to compare these lows with these lows in order to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the hidden bullish divergence that I'm picking up on these two lows is what tells me we golden. Okay. And the funny thing is, when we entered the market, when I gave the entry zone there, the RSI had not made that, and it was and the buy setup was factoring in that, and the idea that there's an anticipation that there should be a bounce into this area, into the demand zone. I give you guys a wide berth, wide entry zone for the continuation on further. Okay, so what do we have from a trending point of view? If I were to say our trend, that is still up. From a momentum point of view, what do we have? Our momentum then is still intact. We have bullish, hidden bullish divergence momentum. Then the last part of when we look at a setup, that's our structure. Therein lies our invalidation. When do we define the areas for trend break, momentum break, and what kind of setup do we use? Because the structure defines whether I want to use hidden bullish divergence to enter, or whether I want to use strong bullish divergence to call a bottom, or whether I want to use hidden bearish divergence to add on to a short or something like that. So the structure is the last part. And that also sets your expectations. So if we look at the structure from this point, the expectation of this entry is that there should be still a 5-wave structure leading, or 5-wave Elliott wave, 5-sec Elliott wave, leading out of this buy. And if you've missed the bus, now is still a good time to enter, because we're still very close to, or still in our buy zone. And if you're not confident, never should trade with confidence or fear. But if you have a situation where I've been taking a couple of losses, maybe I want to find out first. The real leverage gains are normally to be made when we go from wave 2 to 3, because that's typically the biggest move. And at that stage, what we will have done is made a higher high and deleted any signs of a potential hidden bearish divergence, because within this wave, we're trending down. So I don't want to see the market kind of fight resistance zones with my long and the RSI being higher already, because that would typically be bad. That would mean that I've got this wrong, and this is only the beginnings of a deeper retrace and a reset, and then we're going to try again. Okay, that's the cautionary tale for that. And that means that if you wait and to find whether this analysis is right, your second entry would probably be the one where you can load up a little bit more and take a little bit more risk, because at that stage you have more confluence pointing to the fact that this is still the potential outcome for the trade. Now, if this makes sense or was helpful, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm going to head over to the comments, and then we're going to look at the Solana and the Ethereum structure before I will end off the stream with my general closing remarks. Okay. So over to the comments. This picture. Oh, it's no comments today. It's only Liam today and Renee and Louis. Hello, Louis. So it's a quiet day. Where's everybody? Thursday blues or Wednesday evening? Too much fun? You never know. Okay, so let's see what Liam had to say. He's got a question. Rudo, I see we visited the area where you looked at 107, 106K. On the 4 hour, we haven't made a lower low, and the RSI now has hidden bullish divergence. So it's not so much so a question than an observation, and I've pointed that out as well. So Liam, spot on, my friend. You've seen what I've seen. Okay. So now let's see what he has to say. I'm actually in long on Solana because I hit the long a while on the wrong chart, but I'm up 20%. What are your thoughts on Sol? Okay, well, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts just now, and Alex is asking, BTC seems to go up. Are we good for a long entry now? Alex, I think I've answered that question for you as well. We're in the buy zone, and the big thing that you need to look for with entering now is to make sure that the market does make a higher high. So you can put a line on on the high. You can use Tuesday, 27 May, that date, and all you need to do is put an alert on there. Once that higher high is there, you can sigh a little bit of relief, and you can look to reduce some of the stop, because then at least we'll be able to, the Fibonacci, kind of look for where a typical 618 retracement will be, which means then you're still entering below where the extremes of a retrace could potentially take place. That means you can reduce to risk and then add and build a position. But for now, it's a little too into the future. We're going to need to give it a little bit more time. Okay. Let's see what else we need to look at. Let's quickly then have a look at Solana. Well, I'm going to start with Ethereum. I think Ethereum is probably the better one. Before we do that, though, guys, within my Discord, I'm going to I trade live with everybody during the day. So it makes it very simple. What you need to do is just go to navigation channel. There we go. And within there, you'll be able to get roles to access certain Discord features. And you'll be able to come and trade and chat with me. You can go watch some education, or you can join my lifetime group. So all these buttons function in a very simple way. So it makes navigation quite easy, especially for people that are not sure. Why am I clicking on members the whole time? Let's just do this, especially if you're new to trade. Now, today's deal is, and I basically gave it to everybody regarding, well, not a deal, basically the game plan going forward is, within the trading side of things, I tend to, just like any other trader, hate admin. I hate doing it. I hate recording it. I hate all of it. But it's a necessary evil that you need to do. And I probably don't want to call it an evil. Necessary, something you need to do in order to see where you are with your trading. Now, the last time I recorded was for basically a week in January, and this was the trades that I shared. I recorded everything nicely in there, and I'm going to move forward doing that. So the game plan is simple. I'm going to open a fresh new PRIMEXBT account for myself as well. I'm going to put some money in there. And I would suggest that you guys do exactly the same. Open a fresh one, put some clean money in there, because you can import your trades directly from Prime. I will show you guys that in the Discord when, once that is set up. And then what you'll be able to do is follow all the trades and look at all the strategies, as I'm going to do that with you guys. So you're more than welcome to do that. Links in the video description. Get the PRIMEXBT role so that you'll have access to everything that I'm going to put in there. That's everything in the Discord. And if for some reason in your country you don't have PRIMEXBT, there is alternatives to the roles as well. So you can use any one of the alternatives. Okay, it's as simple as that. And going forward, I will be a little bit more vigilant myself, making sure that I do fill these things in. Because yes, one thing claiming to be a profitable trader, it's another thing showing. Okay, so there you have it. So make sure to get it. Trader Sync, links in the video description as well. It comes with a free trial. So use the link, you'll get a free trial, and you can just play around with it. It's as simple as that. All right, now let's head over to the other coins. I'm going to talk to Ethereum. Now, at the beginning of the week, I had a theory with you guys. And the problem that I had was that although Bitcoin was extremely bullish at that stage, we were just pushing all-time highs again. My problem that we had with the altcoins, especially Ethereum, Solana, is that they fighting hidden bearish divergence. So it might mean that we could potentially find ourselves going sideways for a little bit longer until these coins go and hit new buy zones. Now, let me explain. So if you look at Bitcoin and you look at Bitcoin from the daily time frame, now nothing wants to load. Come on, there we go. Bitcoin from a daily time frame. Bitcoin is suffering from, let's go weekly. It's going to make a picture even cleaner for you guys. And I'll just speed this up for some reason. I'm going to just take that away. So from a weekly point of view, we're pushing all-time highs, okay? But we do have strong bearish divergence. And it's not a bearish signal because we're above support. So we want to remain bullish for that reason. But when we start looking at Ethereum, we use that same picture for Ethereum. You can see that Ethereum has only now recently used Bitcoin's new push to all-time highs to break trend. That's all that it's done. And Ethereum still needs to go and push all-time highs and the same for Solana. So if you load Solana, you'll see exactly the same. There you have it. So the alts are literally dragging behind. Now, if I zoom in on them and we start looking at a trading time frame, the problem that I find with most of these, with Ethereum and Solana, is that maybe let's use the daily time frame for you guys, so I can just clean this up a bit. Okay, you can see that the highs that created Solana's all-time high there, we're sitting in a situation where we have hidden bearish divergence. Plus, it's not like we're trending up. We made a lower low. Okay, so they're still trending down, although in true alt fashion, they're up 56%. And the expectation for why I am a little hesitant, or the reason why we're on a knife edge, basically, I'm hesitant between bullish, bearish at this stage when we look at the alts, is that they would probably need to go and make a higher low to break this and have this hidden divergence play out. Same for Ethereum, same for as Solana, same for Ethereum. So you're seeing exactly the same thing. So ETH is pushing highs. It's looking amazing. But remember, my friends, tops look bullish, bottoms look bearish. They're always going to be like this. Any of these bottoms look bearish as hell. Why is it then bullish all of a sudden? So you cannot use your sentiment to find that. So from the momentum, speed, and structure point of view that I've just did with Bitcoin, if we look at this, the momentum on this one is still there, but it's showing you that that hidden bullish divergence is creeping up. A little break of momentum, and then the structure is saying to us we need to then expect it to fall to $2,000. Then the same then plays out for Solana. So although the momentum is still there, the trend is still there, if we break hidden bullish divergence, the structure is saying we can fall back to 150. safety. And that's when we need to look for the swing long. And the only way that all of this that I've said now can be mitigated or invalidated is Bitcoin going to TP on the long that we have. And we're betting that that's not going to happen at the moment. I'm betting that Bitcoin is going to do this. Break them through, because yes, maybe because it's fast, it won't last. But all I want to do is have a nice ride on Ethereum. All I want to do is just have a nice ride with Ethereum, then get it to an all-time high double top maybe, and then short the thing back down as well. Because traders, we can make money in the up and the down. We're not hodlers on this stream, so we don't need to worry about just the price going up. Okay, so I hope that sorts you out with Ethereum. Hope that sorts you out with Solana. And if you want to trade setups and you want to trade with me, what you need to do is get your PRIMEXBT account using my link. Deposit your trading capital, because obviously you're going to be trading with me. And then the Discord will unlock for you guys. You'll be able to talk and chat with me during the day in the trade and chat channel. I share my screen so you can trade with me and take the setups I take. And as from now on, I will also make sure to diary things more professionally so that you guys can follow along and see where we're going with. As easy as that. Thanks for taking the time, guys. That's everything we have time for now. Yeah, let's see. Peter, any comments that I need to have a look at? Hi, but hope you're well. I'm extremely new to holding Bitcoin. Any help is appreciated. Well, Gary, I'm really happy for you for taking this new journey. Things like Bitcoin, holding Bitcoin can be overwhelming. Stumbling onto my channel can also be overwhelming because I tend to be very technical and make things less moon boyish, meaning just buy and you'll be okay. I try and give you guys the up and the down and the risk of that. The question you're asking, I would say, would better be answered when you look at the afternoon streams, when we look at the hodl streams, and consider the weekly and daily time frame. So if you look at the information that I shared with you right now, anything that went below the 4 hour is actually irrelevant to you at this stage. From your point of view, trend is up, you're holding. That's how you hold your BTC. Until we break trend, that's all you need to do. And the magic is, yes, it is spot. In order to find out if there's going to be more, you're always going to have to risk 23.6% of the move minimum. Let me explain. Any upward trend, we can use this entire run now, from Bitcoin at 15 to where we are right now. Statistically, a trend only changes when we fall below that fib level. Fall below that. So in order for you to want to know what you need to do next, your answer is so simple. You're just holding your BTC. And only when we hear and we start doing stuff like that, then it's bear market. Then you need to think about your spot. In the meantime, yes, there will be take profit areas that I share and so forth, because yes, there's other coins, there's maybe other opportunities, but that's as simple as it is. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Peter, thanks for the compliment. Happy that you found value on this. Let's see what else we have. Do you think we will be more bear markets with Bitcoin like before, 70, 80% down? Tony, I don't think so. Because everybody's balls sleeping bees. That's true. That's true. The goal here is we want Bitcoin to mature. And in order for Bitcoin to mature, the volatility needs to move, go down considerably. So the best coin or the best comparison would be to think of gold. And gold, when probably traded in way back in its early speculation, was easy to kind of define what the price would be. There's no universally accepted that's a fair price. Let's put it like that. And that is what Bitcoin is trying to do here. All of this, it's just asking the question back at everybody that's holding. What is a fair price for Bitcoin? And as more money enters, this thing's market cap grows. That fair price will get narrowed down and things will start almost plateauing out. And then there will be maybe slower, more consistent growth like that of gold. And the easiest way to visually explain that to you guys is if I load a Bitfinex chart maybe, and I hit this on the weekly time frame, and then switch to the logarithmic chart. And I don't quite understand why all of a sudden everything is so slow on my machine. So bear with me if it takes time. And that's just this. Okay. Every time as the market is maturing, the gains is getting less and less, but also the dumps becoming less and less severe. And only if Bitcoin now goes into a negative adoption where people don't want it anymore, from a fundamental point of view, do I think that we're going to find a situation where previous bear market lows will be taken out. That's my opinion, though, not financial advice. Just going to leave it there. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see what else there. Anything else? Hello, Matty. Nice to see you here, my friend. That's it. Then Liam, what do you have here? Alts over on potential next push, dominance dependent. Look, I think I've kind of pointed the thing. We're at a knife's edge at the stage. Let's see which side it falls, because we want to be in with the trend, Liam. So don't try and be too smart. The market takes out three kinds of traders: the scared ones, the fearful ones, and the smart ones. And the smart ones, they know what's cooking. They can understand how the market works, but then they get impatient because I want to be right early, because that's the whole idea of selling a top or buying a bottom. Let's wait for the trend to establish on the analysis, and then we impact. So it's just too soon to realistically say go short ETH, go short Solana. You can scalp them, trade them, but from a swing trend, they're still up. We still need to think that they're going to go higher. Okay. Mr. Zenroom, nice to have you here as well. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's everything for today. 27 minutes on, 81 people joining in live. Thanks so much. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the content, guys. Let's make sure we can navigate these crazy swings together with common sense. That's the whole idea. I'm not trying to moon hype you into any bad trades. Common sense with clear invalidations, so that if the market turns and I'm not there to jump on a YouTube, you know exactly what to expect and how to conduct yourself. That for me is a big win, and that's the whole goal of the stream. Have a lovely day. See you guys soon. Cheers.